buddy. How you doing? Uh, I went and got my oil changed this morning. I It's a long story. Um, I'm gonna try and get both of my streams in today, but I might not, and I might start feeling better. But right now, I was just a little active. I went. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I forgot to turn my volume down. What do we got here? Okay. I think we're on three. Three or four would be okay. But I felt okay until I think just a little too much walking and stuff. The I've been like rotating my foot and stuff. You know, the thing is, there's discomfort to be for sure. But like last night when I got all done and I was going into bed, I took the ice, but you know I think I'd have been able. You know, the ice makes it feel better. I ain't gonna lie. But I think I'd have had no problem going to sleep without the ice. So I mean, I really can't complain. I just really can't complain. Um, but hopefully I'll be able to. If not, I'll watch it tomorrow, probably first thing when I get up. But hopefully I'll be able to stay awake and watch the. Oh shit! There's times where I do both. I watch it at night, and you know, and then sometimes it's better than others. But then I usually end up watching it again in the morning or later in the week. But hopefully I'll be able to. Like, most of the time I fall asleep in Beyond Skinwalker. He's a former prosecutor. He was a military prosecutor in JAG, and then he became a federal prosecutor. And I might be wrong, but if memory serves, he was actually trained by Robert Mueller. He But he's on Threads now, and you know, by everybody, there's a lot of these famous people, and the way they're talking, it sounds like Threads is doing pretty good. And but he goes on Threads and lets you know, and I can't think of her name. Joyce something or other. She's one of the ones from the Sisters-in-Law podcast. I need to go back. I can't think of her last name. And she's been doing the same thing. I can't remember if Barb McQuaid. I think it's Barb McQuaid. She's another one of those Sisters-in-Law podcasters. But Joyce has been doing it where they let you know where they're going to be. I think Barb did it yesterday too, but you know, they let you know, hey, I'm going to be on, you know, this channel, or I'm going to be on, you know, like I think Barb and Glenn both, and I missed Barb. Again, I haven't been feeling great the last few days. Some days better than others, but I I didn't realize what time it was. I didn't realize that Nicole Wallace was on until after 3 o'clock. It was about 3:30, so I think I missed Barb. But Glenn was still on when I got on there. But they're letting you know, hey, you know, because I follow all three of them on Twitter and now Threads. And, you know, and the other thing is, you know, people that I tend to follow, Democrats, Republicans, and maybe not party affiliated, they've all said the same thing, that Threads is good because they're getting their content out, they're interacting with people, but they're not getting harassed by the MAGA turds. And they're real happy with it. They're really happy to have, you know, what Twitter used to be back. Okay, killing all the enemies. Okay, so we gotta go through here quietly and kill all the bad things.
Not enough spirit.
There was a cat at the place I got my oil changed at, and they scheduled me early, so I think I might have been the first one. The one guy was there all by himself, and what happened was
I don't have enough spirit.
I gotta think it through because it was a little more expensive than what I thought. Not horrible, but like when I was down in Indiana, there were some places you could go and you could get a kind of a drive-through oil change. You just show up, first come first serve.
Not enough spirit.
You're in and out in like 20-30 minutes or something like that, and usually, unless there's like a big line or something. And I want to say it was like $50 or less. And
I don't have enough spirit.
But even if I still had the stuff, that was another thing, you know, my sister got rid of. That we had stuff here where I could pull my car up on some ramps and I could do my oil change. Well, I got to be honest with you, right now that's not an issue because trying to get under the car would probably be a pain in the ass. Moving the ramps around would be a pain in the ass because they were metal, they were kind of heavy. Like all the way around, just going somewhere to get it done. And but it wasn't any more expensive than like one of the places. Like I called two places, and one of them could not get me in, and then the other one we got here. Okay, we gotta go back the other way. One of them couldn't fit me in. The one that could fit me in, it's like a drive-through one. Just, you know, it was basically about. Actually, I think it was a little more expensive than this, but it was in the ballpark of what this one would be. But I gotta tell you, the guy that I went to, I do not have to worry about him selling me some shit I don't need. Because years ago, and I don't think they're even in business anymore. Years ago, I can't remember what I went. I think I was the same thing. I needed an oil change. This is before I was doing them myself. This is, I think, what prompted me to fucking start doing them. But I took it in for an oil change, and then when they called me and they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, we found a problem," and I go, "I don't care. I just want the oil change." They go, "Oh, well, we already tore it apart." And the thing is, if you go to a lawyer, if you tie it up in court, you're gonna be, you know, you might not get your car back for a couple days. You know, and this was back in the late 80s, early 90s or something like that. And well, what they were doing was they were telling me that my catalytic, I'm not making this up, I really wish I was. I don't know if they're gone nationwide, but I think the place in question, they're not in our town anymore. And the reason I say that, and I'm not going to give you names because I don't want to, but I think they've been nailed. I think they've been nailed by like 60 Minutes or 2020 or something like that for doing the same fucking thing. But but they expected me to pay for new catalytic converters, and I go, look, I didn't authorize you to do this. I go, just put them the fuck back on. I'll pay you for the oil change. Oh, well, they're bad. I can't put them back on. Well, the reason I took it in, whatever it was they were doing, and I think it was an oil change, but I'm not 100. It's been so long. Even if I didn't have this health problem where I sometimes have issues with my memory, I don't know if I'd remember this because it was so fucking long ago. And but I had plans to go out of town. I was going to go visit a buddy up at where he was going to college. And what the fuck? And so I ended up, and I told him, I don't know what you're going to do, but I don't have the money to pay you. And they go, we can set up a payment plan. And I just did it so I could get my car back. I think they knew. I think I might have mentioned that I was getting it done so I could go out of town. I should have just called my friend and basically told him, again, I didn't think of it. But nowadays, I think what I should have done is just call my friend and say, I probably won't be able to come up, and just tell him, look, I'm either going to show up, pay you for an oil change, and I'm going to have my car put back together and ready to go, or I'm going to be calling the police and tell them you're doing this. And they probably would have backed up when I was talking to my friend who was the mechanic. According to him, and I don't know. And I think he worked for a dealership. I think he worked, now mine, like, I went to a non-dealership, but I think he worked for Ford, I think. I might be wrong, but I think he worked for a Ford dealership. And he's like, okay, he goes, I gotta ask you, how did he test it? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, he said, as far as I know, he goes, we don't have any way to test a catalytic converter. Like they can basically test it with an emissions test. But he said, as far as I know, there's nothing you can take and plug into a catalytic converter. And I go, I didn't know. He goes, most people don't. But I told him, I go, look, it's already done. I go, I will never fucking go there again. I go, they will never get another fucking ounce of my, and he goes, well, okay, fair enough. And,
I don't have enough spirit.
yes, but the previews for tonight's episode of Skinwalker Ranch are looking pretty fucking sweet. They really, I mean that in the nicest way possible. They're looking pretty sweet. Fuck you, Mick West. I don't have anything. I really don't have anything personal against the guy. He's probably a really nice guy, but professionally, I think he's a hack. And I just, hey, it is what it is. But I think he's a hack. Okay, what do we got here? And but to be honest, there's always been whether he's professionally hired by like the guy. Thing is, with some of the answers he's given, if the Pentagon hasn't hired him, they really should. Maybe he's working for the big military corporations. Maybe he's working for the Pentagon. I don't know. But they've always seemed to have people like this, professional debunkers. And what gets me is and again, I don't know why people keep using him, because the answers he gives just don't, a lot of the time, don't seem to make any sense, like, because and I will give him and the History Channel props for this, because I tweeted to him after it was, and I think it was I think I was seeing it
I
right
don't
around
have
the
enough
time.
spirit.
Right around the time. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the cats. I don't know how, like, because like I said, they had a cat at the where I was getting the oil change, and now the male cat usually doesn't bother me too much, anyways. Here, but the female cat, she acted really weird when she smelled it on me. So I don't know if I might just, like, later today when I'm all done with these, I might actually wash these shorts and this shirt before I get into bed so I don't take that smell into bed. She's been laying with me in bed. But I don't know if I'm persona non grata because I got another, the dogs were like this and the cats were like this. If you go and come home with some other pet's scent on you, they kind of sometimes act like a girlfriend when you cheat on them. They don't always like that, and I really didn't know. But it was funny because that one guy was the only one there. So as soon as he got busy, the cat came and started hanging out with me, and really liked the walker. Was really checking that out, checking out the wheels and walking on my legs. And when I was sitting down, I put my feet up like I do now to help the blood drain out of my foot. And but that cat, I have no idea if it was a female cat or a male cat. I didn't get that investigative. And and here's the thing: by default, I usually think of dogs as male and cats as female. Regardless, it just my head automatically goes there. So, like, I sometimes do that with the male cat we get here. I'll be like, oh, you good kitty, or you good girl, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, he's not a girl. And cat and dogs, my niece has got a female dog, and I usually would, just by default, think of it as a boy dog, and it isn't.
This cannot be opened yet. I cannot open this.
I don't know if it's going to help, but I took a poop right before I started this. I'm actually feeling so. It might have been. I don't know if that's part of my diverticulitis or what, but it might have been something in there causing me problems. But I'm feeling a little better. I think I'm still going to be a little fuzzy all day. But that's the thing I've noticed too. Like, even before I broke my leg, and it kind of goes with the diarrhea I had when I was being infected. All I can tell you is, when I was working at General Motors, I think I lost my job with about 20 years left in the UAW, and or 20 years in it. So I had like another 10 years, and I could have retired, full pension. And but the thing is, I am pretty sure I was exposed to something. I can't begin to tell you for sure what it was, because these medications I had, as soon as I wasn't working there anymore, I didn't seem to need it. Like, there are 4 or 5 of them, and every one of them generally was replacing something you were short of. Whether it was the depression meds, there's a chemical that you're missing. And I was on 2 of those type of drugs. I was on a prescription vitamin because I was low on that, and that's linked to depression too if you're low on that, vitamin D. And testosterone and a thyroid medication. And again, like the testosterone, they had to show that was a federal law that covered it. This was not something where I could go in and just tell them a good story and they needed the blood work to go with it. I didn't seem to need any of them when I wasn't there after a while. Like things cleared up. And but the diarrhea I had, now my doctor had said she couldn't find any medical reason for it. She was actually worried I had like intestinal cancer because of what was going on. And she could see it in the blood work. She could see it in other stuff. And she's just like, I can't find any reason. She told me that once. She goes, I can't find any reason why you're going through this. And, well, I got a pretty good idea what it was now. And, but,
I must wait to use that ability.
I'm just a scout. Oh, I still have...
but that diarrhea, and I lost my, I can't say for sure that this was part of it, but when I did some investigating on it, and it is entirely possible that what they were doing dehydrated me enough that it could have led to my gallbladder having a problem. It could have caused the gallstone, which then what the fuck? I don't know why that thing's still beeping.
The gods strike through me.
This game has been fucked up 2 or 3 different times. Like, it's telling me there's something here, and this has already been fixed. That's the thing. I was starting to feel really bad when I was getting ready to stream, and then but this is the thing with the stuff that happened with the diarrhea, and for several years,
I don't have enough spirit.
I got to where, like, when I was going to the bathroom, it was like liquid. I mean, it was like water. I mean, that's be water, my friend. Poop water, my friend. And like anymore, if
What happened to the scout?
Yes.
I see.
I don't even have what you would call like solid waste. And
Look out!
That poor man.
if I get anything that's like too, and I would not use the word solid to describe it. Now look at this shit. I got a glitch for you. This guy here, I'm not showing anything, but yet it's not giving me the completed mission. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna give up on this one.
I am returning to town.
But if it even gets a little semi-firm, I have problems going. You know, I'll be sitting there. It don't happen all the time anymore. It's a little more rare than what it used to be after I got out of there. But I'll feel like I'm pushing out a brick, and then you know you look at it and it's all soft. It's not a solid shape in there, and it's like, and that, but again, that was more than likely from they ruined that. Well, the problem I got even before I broke my ankle, since I've come home with this issue I have, um,
Have you spoken to
like I'll be fine,
Not yet. What does one say
and
to
then
a Nephilim ghost?
I will do something. I'll go walking, and then as soon as I start walking, it's like I gotta make a beeline for the bathroom because that walking has stirred something up. But yeah, I'm really, I don't know, the way I'm feeling now, I don't know that I'll be asleep, but, or I don't know if I'll be awake or asleep or not, but I'm really looking forward, to tonight's Skinwalker Ranch.
I cannot open this. Ha! A vicious strike. The storm breaks.
I think I got them all. Now I can just go around and kill the slopes. Yeah, it just... And then I watched a couple more interviews. Tomorrow I will do my level best. I will literally do my, and I'll have to take a break to either that or I'll feed them before I start. But 10:30-ish is usually when the cats get fed. So I might have to take a break and feed the cats. Otherwise they'll get lucky and I'll feed them before. But 10 a.m. is when I'm supposed to be able to watch the UAP hearing tomorrow. So I am going, and if I can't, I can't. I apologize. But if possible, because I haven't seen any copyright strikes, I'm not getting any warnings here. But I will basically be chatting while they're doing that UFO hearing tomorrow. I'll have Minecraft or something on, but the focus will be like today I'm trying to play. And I'm bullshitting when I can, but there's some of these streams I do where I'm really trying to get the message out, and that'll be the one where I will be focusing on the content of the hearings. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know. I literally don't know. I don't know, especially the Republicans. When you look, you had Marjorie Taylor Greene. She said the other day that we don't need World War III, we need Civil War II. Okay, I gotta make sure I got Cyclone Strike. Okay, I got Mystic Ally. I'm going to assume that this, because it says cyclone down there, it's sweeping wind. Yeah, I'm just going to assume that's what it is. Okay, and that's a Y. But it's hard for me to take the Republicans seriously when you've got, there were MAGA people that have been, I don't know if they're doing it publicly. It might be stuff that's coming out, but these guys are like, basically just damn near spanking it to the fucking Nazi flag. It's bad. It's literally bad. And Marjorie Taylor, like I said, she basically tweeted out, this was public, she tweeted this out that we don't need a World War III, we need a Civil War II. I don't know how you can, sit there and think that these people wouldn't bring slavery back if they could. I hate to say that, I really do, but you look at the way they've been willing to break the law. You got that governor down in Texas. He's basically put up razor wire and other things, and and this is the thing I don't understand. I literally don't. I'm also not a lawyer, so there's probably a very good reason why I don't understand this. But they put up razor wire and big fucking barricades floating in the water, and the federal agents, the Border Patrol, have told them, look, you got to take them down. They're making it harder, if not impossible, for us to do our job. And the thing I don't understand is, why are they not charging the governor down there and his little henchmen, everybody that was involved? Because I don't care if it's military and the National Guard. I don't care if it's law enforcement. Every one of them should basically say, look, that's an illegal order. I can't follow it. I don't understand why they're not being charged with the death of every person that's been killed. I don't understand why they're not being charged with, especially after they were warned by the Border Patrol. I don't understand why they're not being charged with obstruction of a federal officer in the course of his duties. But they are charging them with a law for basically having the stuff in the water. There is a law, apparently. And, this is like the January 6th people. These people were involved in a terrorist attack. I'm sorry, there's just no way to be nice about that. And if you or I robbed a bank, and somebody got killed while we were breaking that law and robbing the bank, we would have been charged with a crime. We would have been charged for murder, reckless homicide, manslaughter. There'd be something in the spectrum of the death, of the wrongful death of another human being. There's somewhere in that spectrum we'd be charged with, you or I, right here, okay. And I don't understand why not one person involved in January 6th was charged with the death of Ashley Babbitt, or the police officers that committed suicide because it was so fucking horrible. I don't understand why they haven't been charged. And I want to point out to you, I'm going to get off of this after this point, and it might ramble on for a couple minutes, but I will get off of this, I promise. But there was a judge. Well, there's multiple judges that did one thing where they looked at the federal government and they said, hey, I've looked at the evidence. Are you sure this is all you want to charge him with? You know, the judges were like shocked. They're like, look, you know, I looked at the evidence, and I'm not even sure it's everything, but I looked at the evidence that you're bringing in, and they're like, are you sure this is all you want to charge these guys with? Sounds like they should be charged with a lot more. And one judge
I don't have enough spirit.
basically stated that like half of this country, you know, thinks that January 6th was no big deal. And he said, he goes, if you at the DOJ would quit treating like it was no big deal, maybe that would change their minds. You know, he basically told them, if you started treating this like it was serious, maybe other people would treat it like it's serious. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. It's like, what the fuck? And you know, and that could have been the thing where, you know, and again, maybe they didn't think they could make the case. Again, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV at a New Jersey sex toy shop. I really don't, like Rudy Giuliani did. But you know, it could very well be that, you know, they looked at it. Maybe they honestly looked at it and they just couldn't make the case, or they didn't think it was a winner. You know, but to me, if you could have made the case, and I honestly don't see how you could. I literally do not see how you couldn't. But if you could make the case, I don't understand why you don't use that as your carrot and your stick. It's like, hey, if you plead guilty, we take the murder charge off the table. But if you're going to make us go to court, this is what we're going to just hammer you with everything. And maybe they'll get them later. Maybe when it's all done, they'll go back and revisit it. But I just don't get it. 'Cause like if they could find a way to legally put these people away, you know, it would send a message not to do this again. You know, and there were people that were making this case probably before I was, but they're like, hey, look, you got to hold Trump accountable so it doesn't happen again. If all you do is go, it'd be like Abu Ghraib. You know, if all you do is go after the stupid low-hanging fruit, and that's literally what they did. That's literally what they did. But if all you do is go after the, you know, the inbred hillbilly fucking low-hanging fruit of the Republican Party, they'll do it again. You know, and I can't remember who was president. I think it might have been George W. Bush, but there was a guy, he owned like one of those call centers, and you know, among other things, they did. They're those people that call you up and bother you. You know, call you up and bother you when you're eating or whatever. Well, he owned one of those, and he was basically hired by. And he's a Republican, anyways, but he was hired by members of the RNC, and what he did was he called up Democratic call centers that were engaged, like maybe not exactly, but if you remember that old organization Acorn, but he called them up, and they were basically working on getting people. They were working on getting people to vote, so they knew where to vote and where they needed to go, and all this other stuff. And what they did is they call flooded them. It was like in a computer, if you know what a denial of service attack is, that's exactly what he did. They kept their phone busy so that it made it much harder and unrealistic for normal people to get called in and actually do something. You know, and that's the way it was. And He ended up spending 3 years in jail. What was funny is he basically told the prosecutors, like, hey, look, I was hired by the Republican National Committee. I was told to do this. Here's who I talked to. He gave them the goods. Well, they were just fine letting this guy go to jail. They really were. They were absolutely fine letting him go to jail. Well, as soon as they started going for the leadership in the RNC, they circled the wagons. They spent millions of dollars. They didn't spend any money on him. Well, this is kind of what they did with these guys. They pretty much, and this is the worst part of it. This is the, I mean, I almost feel a little sorry for him, but this is the worst. Oh, hang on, I gotta get more dead people. But when you look at it, they were happy. They you know, Trump and others sent them guys down there. They told them to go. Hey, show up. It'll be wild. You know, that kind of shit. And you know, they basically kept the whole, you know, QAnon conspiracy shit going and got them to go. And then you had members in there, like I know it was reported of Lindsey Graham, not the Democrats. This is Republican leadership. Lindsey Graham was going off on the law enforcement. Why aren't you shooting these people? They sent them there. They sent them there. The Republican Party sent them there. Now, granted, it might have just been Donald Trump and his little fucking criminal cohorts. I don't know. But they sent them there. And then the other part of the Republican Party was happy to fucking shoot them. They were happy to make martyrs out of every one of them, like they did with Ashley Babbitt. You know, a veteran, you know, mentally disturbed, a fucking problem. But, you know, she was a veteran. And the fact is, I don't feel bad that she got killed for her action. You do stupid shit, you win stupid prizes. But the fact is, you really, really got to hold the little ringleaders accountable. And we might actually see it, but that's what they did in Abu Ghraib, you know, because, like, originally they were getting all the people with the dog collars, the people that were in the picture pointing at the naked guy's junk and shit like that. Well, most of these people, before the Republicans lowered, you know, after before 9/11, wouldn't have had a high enough IQ to serve in the military. Not even the army. And they got in there. They lowered the standards so they could get enough people for to go deal with 9/11, and that was all fine. And then what happened is some pictures started leaking out where you saw non-commissioned officers, you know, not the privates and the corporals, but non-commissioned officers, and people who were clearly in some form of leadership but weren't wearing uniforms. So we don't know if they were intelligence, CIA, etc., or military contractors. But you had people and they never went after him. The only one higher up that got nailed, they scapegoated this female general. I think she was a 1 or 2 star. She was in control of like 17. I might be wrong on this. Don't trust me. If you're really concerned about this, go check it out. But I want to say it was like 16, 17, maybe bases. She basically spent like 1 or 2 days a month at each place. And I would be willing to bet that this shit wasn't going on when she was there. Well, they scapegoated her. You know, it's kind of like it was the first time I ever saw the Army do this, where they were acting like the Navy, where if you got a captain in a ship and some fucking moron starts smoking hash and runs the ship aground or something like that, the captain of the ship is the one that fucking basically pays the price. He's pretty much done running ships. You know, the guy could be basically there in his underwear with his dick hanging, going fuck the captain, smoking a big old fucking bowl, and the captain's the one that would be getting blamed for it. You know, and it's like I'm like, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason for it. I'm not seeing it. But I guess it's a good incentive to get the captains to drill shit into their fucking underlings, like, you know, and that's, you know, and I can see that. Well, then, you know, maybe they should have that. If they got that in the military, then maybe they should have that for the civilian leadership. And maybe we should have saw, you know, Vice President Cheney and Karl Rove going to jail for what they did to the CIAs, like Scooter Libby, instead of just scapegoating them. Maybe we should have seen all those non-commissioned officers and civilians that were just standing around watching, not doing it. You know, basically they should have been fucking sent out to dry, and it just doesn't happen. That's what it looked like they were going to do here, and I don't know what caused it, but to me, Merrick Garland should be fired. I think there's enough case for him to be fired for cause, for, you know, basically the information on the Secret Service phones and the DHS phones getting deleted, destroyed. I think there's ample reason to fire him, because he could have picked all that shit up. Same thing with Ray at the FBI. And now we find out that for something like a year or two,
I am returning to town.
for like a year or two, the FBI director and the attorney general slow-walked it. Made sure that nothing was going to happen to their little, you know, boys. You take a look at the FBI investigation. Ooh, what do we got? Oh, shit. We got to take that. But, they did an investigation into Justice Kavanaugh when he was up for nomination for the Supreme Court. They investigated it. Instead of giving it to Congress, they handed it over to the White House, and they buried it. Between Barr and the White House, Congress never found out, you know, and I got a feeling if they had, maybe he wouldn't have been nominated. Maybe he wouldn't have been confirmed. Maybe he would have been pulled. And I'm sorry, you know, that's another thing that got, you know, Ray and Garland should be fired for, because why haven't they investigated that? Why haven't they taken people to task? Because I'm sorry, if you don't do it, if you don't sit there and hold these people accountable, what's going to happen is it could be Trump's second term if he wins the election. It could be the next Republican in 4, 8, or 12 years. You know, same thing now, where you really need to go after the people in Texas, the governor on down. Basically, it started with him, and take him out and go after the other. Because what'll happen is, sooner or later,
your flaws are revealed.
Somebody will get in power again. You know, it's like, you know, Nixon didn't go to jail, so sooner or later you get another one in there, like Bush or Bush Jr. or Trump. And they start acting like laws are optional. Same thing with Iran-Contra when Reagan was president. You know, they start thinking that laws are optional. You know, and it's the same thing with the UFO thing. To get this back into the, I'm sorry, I'm busting back in now. The same thing with the UFO. I watched that. And you know, he's a lot smarter than me. I'm gonna be honest about it. He's way smarter than me, and he does a lot of this shit. But you know, he was saying that he didn't know if it would do any good to bust these people if their crime was keeping this stuff from the government. Yeah, it does. It honestly does, because sooner or later, and it might not be UFOs, maybe it'll be illegal arms trades or something else. And, you know, something that somebody did wrong. And what they'll do is they will keep that from somebody, because these people were not put in check for it.
I need to go back.
Well done. Here is you have finished.
Yes.
Hang on a sec. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, and then I will try to come back. I might not. I might just call it a day. I am feeling better than like when I was, you know, when before, like when I was getting ready to do this and I had to run to the bathroom quick. I'm feeling a lot better than then, but I'm still not really feeling it. But I'll take a little break. I might just go lay down. I got a feeling if I lay down, I did this one other day. I felt like this, probably more like I did earlier. But I was feeling like I am now, and I'm just like, I'll go lay down on the bed for a second. And I flopped on the bed face down, still had my shoes on, and I woke up like after 5 o'clock. I think it was like 1 o'clock or earlier, and I went and just slept in there for 3-4 hours. But peace out, and I hope everybody has a really good day. I really do.